Princess Celestia vs. a Cockroach, written by Vertigo 22, read by H. Flame, The Battle of the Century. There it was on the counter in the kitchen, and sitting motionless was a small reddish-brown insect with an oval-shaped body, two large antennae extended from its small head, a cockroach, the single most loathed insect to ever disgrace the face of Equus. Celestia stood, petrified. She couldn't believe what was mere inches from her bagel. Her eyes were as wide as the plate that her meal rested on. The mere sight of such a horrid pest was indescribable. They weren't meant to be in a royal castle. They were meant to be in third-rate butcher shops and the slums of Manhattan. Yet here one was. It had emerged from behind a stack of microwavable dinners, and now it defiled the beautiful pearl-colored counter. All the while it stared at the bagel of the Princess of the Sun, its compound eyes no doubt filled with gluttony. Celestia backed away from the ghastly insect and up against the wall as her breathing continued to increase. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. It's hard to say anything when one's thoughts are centered on the stuff of nightmares, not to mention when one's eyes are glued to the single most horrifying thing since a millipede crawled across the favorite pillow. Nonetheless, Celestia continued to stare and stare until she finally snapped out of her stupor. Not because she wasn't scared, no. She was still pissed her pants terrified. But the cockroach did the unthinkable, the single most horrible thing imaginable. It crawled into a bagel. The audacity of its action was too much. Celestia's eyes burned with anger and from tears of absolute terror as her horn lit up. "No! Insect defiles my breakfast!" she cried as she fired off a magic bolt of the rancid creature. "No insect!" Bolt struck the bagel, causing it to explode into dozens of small, no longer edible pieces of roach-tainted bread, butter, and mayonnaise. But the cockroach was still alive, nary a scratch on its glorious reddish-brown body or thorax. "How are you not a pile of ash?" Celestia screamed, her eyes wide and her mouth hanging open. "Are you some sort of mutated being from another land?" The cockroach stood motionless for a few seconds before it crawled towards the nearby cookie jar, uninterested in the deranged Alicon's ramblings about being anything other than a lonesome insect from the outside world. "You shall answer me," Celestia said as she enveloped the insect, her magic and it levitated over, only to realize what she'd just done. Like a little foal, she dropped it and let out a high-pitched shriek before running to the other side of the room. The roach spread its glorious wings and flew towards the counter again before it quickly made haste to the cookie jar. "You shall not devour my sister's snacks!" Celestia proclaimed as she prepared to fire off a magic bolt so powerful it once made Luna wince with pain. This was truly a spell worthy of the Princess of the Sun, and no pony else. The bolt flew towards the roach, who by now was mere inches from the cookie jar. It struck the insect and destroyed a portion of the counter, causing pieces of it to fly in all directions and strike the wall, denting it. Alas, the cockroach didn't die, its hardy shell being too resilient for even the magic of Celestia to penetrate, and continued its epic quest for a cookie or 20. Celestia couldn't believe her eyes. This abomination had survived 2 magic bolts, each filled with enough power to drain a fair amount of energy from her. "What is the meaning of this, you disgusting 6-legged freak?" she growled. The cockroach didn't answer, and simply made its way up to the cookie jar, only to discover the top to the jar was on it. This was truly a dark day for all of cockroach kind. Celestia, however, beamed. For once, Luna remembered to put the lid back on it, she thought. Her joy was short-lived, however, as the cockroach made its way towards an exposed bowl of salad that was labeled as belonging to Luna. Celestia was in awe at the sight, partially because it wasn't damaged from her 2 attacks on the insect, and partially because Luna ate salad without dressing. She made a mental note to ask her how she was capable of such a momentous feat. However, during the time it took her to register her sister's choices when it came to salad, the cockroach had begun to help itself to a piece of lettuce. Celestia gasped at the sight, and with the type of response expected from the pony that can control a giant ball of plasma, fired off a beam of magic which destroyed the bowl of salad and a large portion of the counter, but not the cockroach. Celestia's eye twitched violently. Her mental state was now on par with a pony who was about to be audited, though she did the only thing that seemed reasonable. She levitated over a rolling pin and trotted over to the cockroach. Without a word, she slammed the rolling pin down onto the roach, which resulted in a sickening crunch. Celestia threw aside the rolling pin and let out a heavy sigh. She fell to her haunches and looked around the kitchen. Bits of bagel and burnt salad littered the floor, and the once beautiful teal-colored wall was now dented. "Reminds me of when Twilight first tried to cook," she mused to herself. After a few minutes, Celestia stood up and walked towards the refrigerator. She levitated out a package of cheese and rested it on an undamaged section of the counter. I hope Luna understands what happened here, she said as she made herself a simple cheese sandwich. However, from a small crack in the wall, with gluttony-filled eyes, a cockroach watched as Celestia made her breakfast. Okay, hey guys, A-Flame here, and Jesus fucking Christ, this took me like, I don't know, like a couple of days, but I finally got this story out. Shit, sorry, I finally got this fanfic out right now, and this has been Celestia vs. a Cockroach by Vertigo22, read by me. This art right here with Celestia and the Cockroach was made by Wanderio. If you want to check him out, there's a link to his YouTube channel. It's in the description below. Also his Deviant art. Wow, this took about a couple of days, and it's like hard to try to read a story without stuttering, including Audacity. But nonetheless, I finally got the story out. Just wanted to give y'all a heads up that I'm going to be doing another special Christmas fanfic, possibly. I don't know. I'll see what will happen. But I'm going to be having a reaction video coming out soon, hopefully. So hopefully that won't take too long. But yeah. So we're in December 22nd. And we're almost at the end of 2016. Yay! So yeah, go check out. But 2017 is gonna be awesome, hopefully. So with that said, like I said, the art that was made by Mr. Wanderio Foxuki. And go subscribe to him on his channel and give him a watch on DeviantArt. He's a good fellow. So with that said, I'm A-Flame, and catch y'all in the next video. Peace.